My name's Alan Gossman. I'm the chair of the music department, and I would like to welcome you to the University of Arkansas's 2023 She Festival of Women in Music. When the She Festival began in 2019, it was a big deal. Faculty and students were energized by the desire to learn more about and celebrate the contributions of women in music. There were an impressive 8 recitals, as well as 1 lecture and 1 play. But along with the success of that first festival, there was a realization that a second She Festival could be a bigger deal. Year 2 had 15 concerts. Now at year 6, it's obvious that one of the greatest rewards of each successful festival is not just what's learned and celebrated at this festival, but the desire to learn more and celebrate more the next year. More composers, more compositions, and more ideas. Numbers support this continued moreness. This year's festival offers not 8 recitals, but 68 recitals over the next 3 days. 14 lecture recitals, 19 presentations, a masterclass, poster sessions, and vendors. So, yes. It makes me nervous about like 6 years from now. But we'll do what we have to. Just as importantly, there are many, many new people joining us at the University of Arkansas for the festival who we hope to establish long-lasting connections with. One thing I'd like to mention is the program for all of these events is online, and there's a QR code that's at the doors. When you go out, you can, if you haven't already linked to that, there are sheets of paper at the doors and the entrance with the QR code for the program. Such a fabulous program requires a fabulous committee, and I would like to thank the members of this year's She Festival Committee. They are, as chair, Moon-Suk Park, Tess Delaplane, Rachel Fredrickson, Lenora Green-Turner, Katie Halbert, who will be here, I think, in a couple days, hoping. Sarah Hetrick, who's on tour, okay. And Catalina Ortega. The She Festival happens concurrently with another University of Arkansas music project with the theme, Bridging Differences, Music's Lessons. As a result, I've been thinking a lot about how differences can be bridged in music. 2 contrasting melodies, for instance, might come together at the end of a composition to give a new perspective on how musical elements can work together. Music from different style periods or different parts of the world can come together to enrich a recital program or a single piece. Chamber musicians can hopefully peacefully resolve different performing interpretations among themselves. But one of the most basic differences we can bridge involves our attention. And by spotlighting the contributions of women musicians over the next few days, we can bridge an attention gap whose existence threatens us fully appreciating what music has to offer. I hope that one way your festival attendance proves valuable is by bridging attention gaps that you know about, as well as some that you are yet aware of. Enjoy the festival, and thank you to everyone involved. Sorry, confused the order of 2 events, but next I would like to introduce 3 phenomenal members of the Fulbright Arts and Sciences. They're called the Dean Team, at least unofficially. It doesn't say that on their webpage. And so the 3 people are, they all are very involved with the doings of the music department. One is Leah Uribe, who's Associate Dean. She was the former chair of the music department, and she is a font of a lot of information for me about the music department still. Stephanie Schulte, who's Associate Dean, and my first connection with the Dean team. And then the Interim Dean of Arts and Sciences, Catherine Sloan. Okay, thank you.
We thought we'd do this a little differently. You know, sometimes it's fairly formal and the dean comes up and makes a welcome. But we're going to break out in a song and dance since it is the She Festival. No, I'm kidding. But today is March 1st. It's the first day of Women's History Month. I am a historian of gender and women. Of course, we celebrate women every day of the year, but we also like to highlight women and their accomplishments in the month of March. And so I want to echo what Alan Gosman said and thank Moon Suk Park and the rest of the committee for bringing together what I'm sure will be a very fruitful She Festival at the University of Arkansas. For those of you that aren't part of the university, Fulbright College is the largest college here with 16 departments, 3 schools, and more than 40 programs. It's a very vibrant place to work, a vibrant place to celebrate. And like Chairman Alan Gosman said, or I'll just say Alan, our friend, said, music does bring us together, but I think it's important to celebrate women and the composers that are women or cis, non-cis male, gender. I don't want to get into all the different identities, but I think you know where I'm going with this. In that they're not part of the traditional canon, right? They're not some of the people we might hear in the radio or on the albums or the different CDs or streaming services that we listen to. But it's only because we haven't opened up our own minds to looking at different voices and different perspectives. And that's why I think that this festival is so important. Women are more than half of this world's population. They have as many contributions as men, maybe sometimes more, right? But it's important to celebrate them. And I think the Department of Music has been a real leader in this aspect of promoting women, showcasing women, hiring women in the department, and celebrating their talents and accomplishments. And I'm going to turn it over to my fabulous Dean team. We are the Dean team. There are others, but we are the women Dean team that are in presence today. So Leah or Stephanie?
Thank you so much, Kathy. It is a beautiful thing to come back here and to see you all and to welcome all of our participants to this very special moment in the year, a fraction of what should happen every month of the year, the celebration of all identities. And I know that all together, by virtue of being here and sharing our passion and our commitment to balance in society, our talents, we are going to make this happen in every one of our platforms. Welcome, everybody. I am looking forward to all the activities, and we'll see you soon. Dean Schulte.
Hello, I just wanted to say how pleased I am to be here. It's one of the great joys of my job is that I get to support Alan and the music department and to learn so much about the great work that is happening here. I can't wait to see this event and to see the events that are happening during this entire festival. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
music of Florence Price, the world premiere recording, Volume 1 of her choral music from our archives, was released in April of 2023. It is now streaming on all platforms for your enjoyment. I encourage you to seek it out. Cara did an excellent job with it, and we have well crossed 10,000 streams at this point, which we're on our way to making a gold record. I think we can get there.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name's Catherine McMichael, and I come to you from Michigan, and this weather is beautiful. I'm very happy to be here. I've had a wonderful time so far in Arkansas. And I am so grateful to everybody that worked together to make this festival happen and to make this piece happen. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about how it came to be. I was invited here for this festival back in August, and I was delighted. My contact person actually was Katie Halbert. I've written some music for her, and we just kind of clicked, and I was so happy to be asked. And then the conversations begin. Well, we'd like to do some of your music. Well, you know, what, can you send us some orchestra stuff? And I said, yeah, sure, of course, I can send you some orchestra stuff. But I thought, you know, wouldn't it be kind of cool if I wrote something especially for this festival, for this orchestra? And well, yeah, that'd be a great idea, but there's always the question of money. So, okay, fine, well, whatever. So that was somewhere in, you know, October we started talking about that. And like, I get this email from Tess saying, we got the money. Do you want to write a piece? I said, okay. And for me, I can't write anything in December. I'm a musician just like all of these people here. And you know, there's just too much music in December. So anything I was going to have done, I had to have done by Thanksgiving. This was like the 1st of November. I said, okay, well, I know what I want it to be, though. I knew what I wanted it to be. On my Facebook feed, I get this Women in Science, these Women in Science things, you know? And is the image up there yet? Can we see that? I got this image of Margaret Hamilton. Okay, she's standing there. No one knows who she is. In fact, my minister is from the UP, from her town, and she had never heard of her. What she's standing next to is the code for Apollo 11 to get to the moon and back. And back, that's the important part. And okay, so this is in the 60s. So we're talking about very early days of computers. I mean, computer programming wasn't even a phrase yet. She more or less invented it. And she had a team of geniuses, just like herself, that wrote this. I mean, look at that, look at that. That's what got Apollo 11 onto the moon. I just was flabbergasted, and I thought, oh, I've just got it. This has got to be it. This is going to be it. So I started researching. I read about Margaret Hamilton. I watched a few interviews with her. She's just the calmest, most, you know, like regular person. Like she probably goes out and cuts her roses and gathers her strawberries. I don't know what she does, but you know. And then there's this blazing genius behind those eyes. Well, okay. So I want to do this piece, and we talked about instrumentation. And I'm grateful, thank you, all of you who have stepped in to play this piece, because I know that we've got some ringers in here due to the fact that there's quite a few wind players out of town this weekend. Anyway, I digress. I've always been kind of a loner. I've always just sort of worked on my own. I'm completely self-taught. But now my son, Nathan Bieber, who has multiple master's degrees, and the latest of which was film scoring in Valencia, Spain at Berkeley. So now he's somebody I can kind of bat ideas around with. And I told him about this, and he said, oh yeah, well the orchestra can do some really cool things with like mechanical sounds. I said, this isn't gonna be about the flight. This isn't gonna be about Apollo 11. This is gonna be about what's inside this woman's cranium. I want, if I could open up her skull and take a tour, what would it look like inside? And all I could think of was sparkling lights and arcs of color and, you know, explosions and all sorts of really cool things. And so that's what I was trying to do, and I had no idea how I would do it. I've written quite a bit of music, and you know, everything gets kick-started one way or another. Well, my son had done a final project for Berkeley about his grandfather, my husband's father, who I never met because he passed away before we met. But John Bieber, my father-in-law, flew in some of the missions over Normandy on D-Day. And this was really inspiring to Nathan, and he wanted to write something that honored that. And his piece is called Silver Streaks. Well, it's fabulous, and I kept asking him, what's going on? What's going on? So he finally sent me his screenplay, because he wrote a very extensive script to explain what was happening. And after I'd listened to the piece several times, of course crying every time, after I listened to the piece and then I read the screenplay, I could see it. Not that you need that, but it's kind of cool when there's a story. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do that. I've never done that before. I've never done an outline for a piece. I've always kind of known what it was gonna be like and the instruments and how it would sound, and so I just sort of didn't do that. But I'm gonna read you this because I think it will help you see what's going on. But before I do, I'll just mention a couple of things. This is kind of a new sound for me. I'm totally classical. I mean, that's my background. University of Michigan, piano major. But I have some really good friends who are fantastic jazz musicians, and I've been exploring the jazz harmonies. I'll never be a jazzer. I just don't have the licks. But the harmonies are really cool. And so some of the underlying harmonies in this, I really tried to find that color, not for any reason because of Margaret, but just to, I don't know, just to try and bring something different to it. I would like if we could show a page of that code. I found that too. This is what all those books look like. Look at that. I mean, like, can you imagine? They just sat there and they typed on their computers and they wrote this code. So I thought about that as I looked at this image, and I thought, okay, how am I going to do this piece? So here is the outline for this piece. And it starts off with a dark sky. I mean, these are really corny, but this is what helped me. A dark sky, the moon is glowing in calm splendor, and there's a moon theme, and there's the celeste and the piano. And since I'm a pianist, we have to have piano, and we have to have celeste because celeste is so cool. Okay, then, as a balance to that, there's a dark room. You know, she was a night owl. And there's this calm face of Margaret Hamilton glowing in the reflected light of the computer monitor. And I think I turned that theme kind of upside down to sort of as a reflection. And then I wanted to hear the tapping of the fingers. And she had a team, and all the fingers are tapping this code. So they're tapping, tapping, tapping. And now we enter her mind. All right, what do we see? Okay, well, we're seeing arcs from the Earth to the moon. I mean, you can just picture this. I'm no scientist, but you know, you can just sort of see this. How am I going to get from here to there? And then there's the calculations. So there's the fuel calculations, the speed calculations, orbits, and weather, and launch, and return calculations. And so I thought, well, what's the best thing for calculation? Well, maybe a fugue. Well, I don't exactly have a fugue, but it's sort of an imitative counterpoint type thing. You know, that's the calculations happening. And then above the fugue continues, and then we hear Margaret's theme again, and then we hear the moon theme, and they're braided together, kind of, as mentioned, you know, trying to bring all these themes together. And then at the very, very end, we hear the tapping of the fingers. And I have to say, I was really doubtful about this because since it's Apollo 11, a large part of this piece is in 11/8, and I thought, oh, nobody likes to play an 11/8, but I'm sure it was really fun, right? Playing an 11/8. I tried to make it organic, you know, and integral. Anyway, once again, I'm delighted to be here. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to everyone on stage and off stage for being part of this program. I'm honored to share the stage with Florence Price. And I thank Bob Mueller for bringing the piece to life, and I hope you enjoy it.